what we do in brief is we provide no-cost professional and in-depth business counseling that is legally confidential. We work with those who are starting a business, those who have a business, on issues of financing, growth, business planning, those who are looking to do research on a particular market and try to find out how their business can adapt to that particular market. It's a whole range of issues that we are able to help businesses with directly and also to connect them to other resources. My suggestion is always, if you're working with one technical service provider, that you should look and see what other viewpoints are as well. It's always good to have as many eyeballs look over your business plan, have as many conversations as possible to be able to test the mettle of your idea, and to be able to just accumulate the best advice that you can. With that, though, I invite everyone to come to our center afterwards, or any small business development center. There's actually one right here in Brooklyn, to have a counseling appointment to follow up on some of the in-depth things here when it comes to financial statements. So what we're talking about today is your finances for your business, managing your finances. On a scale of 1 to 5, actually let's just make it easier. On a scale of 1 to 3, 1 being very light understanding and knowledge of financials for your business, how many would raise their hand and say 1? Medium, you're so-so with the finances of your business, but you could learn a little bit more. And how many feel that they've really understood a lot about their financials, they really even have accounting knowledge, they understand how to build financial statements, and have this pretty well tightened up? Okay. Everyone who is in that category are in the other workshops. All right. So what we're going to be doing is first talking about, we'll do it this way. Can I move this over a little bit? Normally there's 3 different financial statements that are considered most important. The cash flow statement, the income statement, the balance sheet. I'd like to introduce at least one more today, and that is the sources and uses of funds. Given that we have so many new businesses in the room, that people have just recently opened up their business, those who are planning to open up a business, is that it really starts, so these are building blocks that really build each financial statement. And one of your first steps to do in just the process of evaluating what you need to do to open up a business is not only researching your market, identifying who they are, what their preferences are, how your business is going to serve that market and be built around your clients, but then also how much is this model that you've been developing going to cost. And this very first statement, the sources and uses of funds statement, which is actually right here on your handout, and I'll refer to, if I may just use this here, you have a summary of my notes on the first 2 pages of this handout, first 2.5 pages. But the very first one is unfortunately I did not have enough copies, and so you'll have to look on to the person next to you. It didn't, oh. I prefer if we could actually have every other person take a copy, and if you could pass that through for the sake of the presentation, that'd be very helpful. Not the actual statements, they're too big to be able to put into a PowerPoint. But what I can do actually is I will write it on the board, and I think that would be helpful. Thank you very much. All right, so the sources and uses of funds page is first a list of uses of funds. And in this lineup, you have everything that it is going to take to open up your business. And this means having found a space, you know what kind of renovations it's going to need. You've talked to contractors, you've gotten estimates on the repairs, you've gone shopping for the materials. You know how much it's going to cost to be able to arrange the space for yourself, whether it's your home office or a storefront. Another one could be the rent deposit that you need to be able to put down at the very beginning to get into the space. Next category could be startup expenses.
Leasehold improvements.
I'm sorry?
Leasehold improvements.
Leasehold improvements, that's right. And so that's what we're talking about, renovations, anything you want to do to maybe even buy equipment or furniture for the business. You could even have a opening event that's going to be marketing the arrival of your business, a grand opening. And so you put in a budget for that. The other thing that's very important to put into here, your uses of funds, is also your reserves. And it's often recommended that you start with about 3 to 6 months of your fixed costs and reserves. Now I say 3 to 6 months very loosely. There are some businesses that, with luck, get by with less. And there's some businesses that have the preparation and wherewithal to be able to move on with more. But what I mean by that is you've calculated, through one of the financial statements we'll show here, exactly what do you need to cover your fixed expenses, your rent, your utilities, your salary, and everything that's going to take to run that business on a monthly basis, whether you sell anything or not. So that becomes your total fixed expenses. I recommend having 3 to 6 months of those, because we live in a very exciting city. We live in a city of train delays, road construction, whiteouts, we have blackouts, brownouts, we have all types of incidents that can really delay the opening of your business. It can delay something that you needed that was core. A liquor store without a liquor license, a bar without a liquor license. These are nightmares that happen all the time. We may have walked by 2 or 3 of these just between J Street and Polytechnic Institute. So the thing is that it's very important to be able to have cash reserves, and I would put that into your sources and uses of funds. Because this means everything you need to open the door. The last part of it, though, and this is on the statement as well, is the sources of funds. Right? Of funds, that's great. Of funds. And where do we get money? From our own wallet, right? So you have you have, which is savings. You also have, I heard credit cards mumbled. Oh, I wish this were a real chalkboard, because I'd run my fingers down the board and make you feel that same feeling I heard when I heard credit cards. So what?
Assets.
Well, you would say savings, right? Let's just go with savings, your own assets, right? And then you also have loans, and you also have financing, or I'm going to call it equity. And that's what the seminar just previous to this was about, was getting investor money for your business. So where's it going to go? Where's it going to come from? That's the sources and uses of funds page. And oftentimes people dive into their business and kind of do this after the fact, and that's when a lot of problems happen, because one didn't really calculate exactly how much money they need to be able to not only get their chin over the bar or fall right over the finish line and say, I'm open, but also when you open that door, hopefully sales come in, but also so do a whole bunch of other circumstances, right? You need to be able to have the money to deal with those changes and those dynamics. You learn about the community as soon as you open up a business and you want to sell to it. You want to sell to somebody, you're learning about them. You may actually change what you're doing a little bit, and you want to have the financing to be able to do that. So that's why it's very important to fill out this very first form, the sources and uses of funds. Are there any questions on that?
When you say equity, you mean sell some piece of your business?
That's right. You're selling part ownership in your business. And that's the sources and uses of funds page. And so when we were looking at that very last portion here of debt and equity, I wanted to just introduce, this is kind of the, how a lender will look at your business. And that's where financial statements come into this, is that lender is going to be looking at, if it's a brand new business, your financial projections. And believe me, there are some lenders who are cracking open business plans and actually looking at them at this point in time for new businesses. But many banks, as we well know, are being very conservative still. But the thing is that they're making a decision on 5 different categories: cash flow, the collateral, the character of the borrower, the capital, and the credit score. Today is really focused on that cash flow and that on the cash flow issue. In order to be able to show that cash flow, you need to be able to start building a basic accounting system for your business. And we'll talk about that here in a moment.